this is my onion, please no kill me, haha. So I just finished watching Batman Ninja, and I just have to get these fucking thoughts out of my head. This isn't really gonna be a review, it's just gonna be my thoughts and complaints about everything. Just stick around if you want. I really wanted to see this movie when it came out, but I haven't really gotten the chance to until now, when it's on Netflix. So, let's go. So first off, what's the plot? Well, Grodd makes the Quake engine, no, not related to the video game, and then he sends everybody back in time to feudal Japan. But Batman gets transported 2 seconds after everyone else, and some time travel bullshit happens, so he arrives 2 years later. And here's the thing about this movie, okay? It has a really brilliant setup. I mean, you have the Joker, who's super close to taking over all of Japan, but then you also have these other villains. You have Two-Face, Poison Ivy, Penguin, and Deathstroke. But these 4 villains do jack shit throughout the whole fucking movie. They do nothing. They are completely useless and only there as like a little plot device, but whatever. Okay, sure. And then Batman finally shows up in Japan. He meets up with Catwoman. They meet up with Alfred. He gets in a Batmobile. He starts fighting a giant robot fucking castle thing that Joker made because, you know, good old feudal Japan, am I right? And then Batman fails. He also meets sumo wrestler Bane, which I thought was quite funny. But anyways, so he escapes and meets up with the Robins, who are there with some kind of ninja clan, and the ninja clan's all like,
"We have been waiting for years for Batman to come, fulfill the prophecy, defeat the great evil,"
you know, and very stereotypical bullshit, which at this point the movie's getting quite ridiculous anyway, so I guess that's fine. And then they have some kind of big ass fight on a boat, and then Joker blows everything up, and they're like, "Oh my god," and I guess we're supposed to think that the Joker died, even though I don't feel like that was clearly conveyed at all. I mean, maybe I'm just stupid, I don't know, but And it goes from looking like a sometimes good looking, sometimes not good looking 3D anime to a bunch of still drawings with some backgrounds moving across the screen, like some kind of fucking video game cutscene from 2005, and then suddenly it looks like this sort of watercolored old school animation that looks first really choppy, then really smooth for like 2 seconds, then really trippy, and then rotoscoped for like 2 seconds, and what the fuck? So basically what happens in this scene is Red Hood's like, "This guy's the Joker, and that's Harley Quinn, I gotta beat him up." And Batman's like, "No, don't do that, it's not them." And then we get this giant mech fight at the end where all the villains are like, "I'm gonna take over Japan." "No, I'm gonna take over Japan." And Grodd's like, "Psych bitches, I'm gonna brainwash all y'all." And then Joker comes back and he takes over everybody and beats up Grodd, and then he has a giant fucking mech and he combines all the mechs together, and Batman's like, "Shit, what do we do now?" And they fucking get Grodd's monkeys, and then you have like a billion monkeys that make a giant monkey that fights a giant fortress Joker robot, and then they're like, "That's not enough," and then they get a bunch of bats that combine together and make a giant Batman that fights the giant Joker. Also, I forgot to mention that the one Robin talks to a monkey in this movie, and that happens. So anyways, then the Joker's like, "Oh, this was my climatic twist to this whole story. Actually, that was me back then, but I brainwashed myself into making it so that you wouldn't think that it was me, but it actually was me all along, but brainwashing myself was the only way to trick someone as smart as you." And it treats it like this is some kind of impressive twist, but it's just stupid. It doesn't feel earned, it's just stupid. Is it just me? I thought it was really stupid. And then we finally get the climactic fight between Batman and the Joker, and this is what I've been wanting the whole movie, okay? I wanted the whole movie to just be more of this. You got Joker pretending to get all knocked out, and then he jumps out at Batman, and the choreography overall is just pretty good, you know, pretty solid. I mean, honestly, I just wanted more of this in the movie. I think the only part of it I don't like is when Batman falls down, because like, you see him get stabbed, you see him fall down, but then he's suddenly behind Joker, and he just tells him, "Don't believe everything you see." Like, that's kind of cheap, come on. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty good sword fight, and there's nothing else like it in the movie. Every other sword fight is super fucking short, I'll tell you that much. And then basically everything that happens after that is they gather everything up, they go back to the future, and then there's this little scene where Selina has stolen something, and she's like, "Hey, I sold it, haha, what's up?" And then it's just done, and that's it. So are there some things I like about this movie? Sure. I mean, I do, first of all, like the idea. I really like the setup and parts of the intro quite a bit, and I also thought Joker and Harley was quite a bit of fun overall. Also, some of the fight choreography was pretty cool sometimes, and sometimes it looked looks really, really great, you know? Some things in this movie, though, really bugged me a lot. First of all, the first time we see Deathstroke, he's holding onto some woman like, yeah, that's my side bitch. But to me, I just don't see Deathstroke as a kind of womanizing guy. I feel like that's more of a Penguin thing. To be fair, I mostly only know Deathstroke from like Teen Titans and like a few appearances in video games and stuff. But still, it seemed out of character to me. Also, after most of the intro stuff is done, Catwoman is mostly just relegated to standing beside Gorilla Grodd going, can we go back to the future now? And him going,
no, I'm not gonna backstab you or anything,
Also, in regards to the animation, there's like a few frames in the beginning of the movie when Catwoman is 2D, and also throughout the entire like 1 minute ending sequence, Catwoman is completely 2D. I don't know why this happens sometimes, but it does, and it's really jarring. Bane and his whole appearance was all 2D, I'm pretty sure, and it really brings me out of the movie because things are so inconsistent all the time. Also, I did not care for that tiny little side plot of Batman being like, what am I without my tools? Because I feel like we've seen Batman stripped of his tools so many times, and he always handles it, right? So for him to actually start questioning whether or not he is a good hero without his tools and equipment, I just don't think that fits him at all, personally. When it comes to the voice actors, I like most of them. I mean, I always like Tara Strong as Harley Quinn, but the Joker voice I felt was a little too high-pitched, a little not so good. It wasn't bad, but sometimes he was just a little annoying to me. I'm sorry. Anyways, Batman was voiced by Roger Craig Smith, who did him in Arkham Origins. But I felt like in that game, his voice sounded much more natural, and in this game, it sounds... in this movie, it sounds more like he's doing a Christian Bale thing, and it's not that fitting, I feel. So I can respect the fact that this movie was not really what I wanted, because what I wanted was just Batman and the characters being restricted to feudal Japan, so they would only use, you know, armor and weapons and stuff from that time period, instead of bringing so much tech with them that they do all this crazy shit with. And I wanted it to be without the time travel stuff and just them having been in Japan this whole time, as if that was where they were all along, and I think that would have been so much cooler. Like, you could do so much new and creative stuff with that we haven't seen in Batman stories. But instead, they kind of wanted to make it just a big, bombastic, fucking crazy ass thing with all these mechs and all this crazy horseshit all the time, and I get that. I can totally respect that that's what they wanted to go for. They don't have to please me to make a good movie, but even then, I just feel like the tone is weird. It feels more like a demo reel for a bunch of different types of animation. Nothing really feels that cohesive. It doesn't really feel like this was written properly. It just feels like a bunch of people kind of brainstormed the whole thing as they went along, and it just feels really weird. After all, the whole like Japan aspect of it really the only part that's important is combining all the kingdoms and stuff, and that's it. Everything else about the setting and about the time is like, I don't know, you see some background characters going, whoa,
what is technology?
and then that's it. So all in all, what did I think? I don't know. I really don't know. And in some ways, that's kind of what's so great about it, because it's just so messy. It's sometimes just so bad. You just start laughing at it because it's so strange. You just can't believe what you're seeing. But I just really wish that it did what it wanted to do and stuck with it a little more. Just dump all the serious shit. Keep the plot even simpler than it was. Don't bother with the whole twist thing. That was just pointless. Just have fun with the idea and do it better. Be more consistent. Because overall, it just feels like a weird hodgepodge of like a bunch of different smaller ideas that don't go together. But in a way, that's what makes it so interesting, I guess. It's just so bizarre, and I do think it's worth watching if you're willing to go in kind of cautiously optimistic about being entertained, because it's bizarre. I don't think it's very good. If I had to give it a rating, probably just like a 5 out of 10. I'm someone who watches quite a bit of anime, and I also fucking love Batman. I mean, you know, I watched all of the animated series, I played all the Arkham games, I've read a lot of the comics, you know, I fucking love the shit out of Batman, okay? I've seen like all the movies. Yes, even Batman and Robin, I've seen that one. That was actually the first one I think I saw. So to me, this would have been so perfect if it was just done a little better.